Stark Future. What a weird comic book. This is a comic book that clearly is not your mainstream comic book. Aircell Publishing. What a what a very very what a missed publisher really. Made some amazing books, and I just wanted to take a look at these real quick. We'll start with issue 1. I'm the type of person who's into a certain kind of style. For the longest time, I was trying to find like a style that really made me want to draw. I think I like struggle with that. When I first started drawing, I struggled with it. I was like, man, I like all these artists, but I kind of want to find like an art style that really makes me want to draw. Something that makes me feel like not like I could do it, because that's not the feeling. But like I hate drawings that look like the artist was trying to be perfect with it. And a lot of the times, the way that you find art like that is you find artists who were too young at the time to go into mainstream, or were just trying to do something completely different than mainstream comics. So we're just going to take a look at this really quickly. What an amazing just opening page. I just love an artist who can do great anatomy. And I love how the perspective is slightly off. I look at these books to kind of just feel inspired. And it makes me want to draw so badly. And you look at this art and you go, how in the world are these guys like not considered good enough to be in mainstream comics? That feels like a Mobius panel. I believe this is Barry Blair on the art, I believe. Doesn't say who the artist is. Really cool aliens. I don't even know what year this was. 86, I'm assuming. I'm not a historian when it comes to comics. I just like to look at the art, really, because you have that nostalgia feeling when you were a kid, and you go, man, I want to kind of recreate that nostalgia feeling, because I think we're totally living in that nostalgia age. Just some interesting stuff. It's not your typical panel by panel drawings. Like, you wouldn't see something like this in mainstream comics, at least to my knowledge. Great great forms for the muscles. And you go, oh, okay. So there's the deltoid, there's the bicep, there's the tricep, there's the forearm. You have one form here, kind of for the elbow, and then another form down here. That's all you need to know. Honestly, probably. I am not a professional, but I feel like that's all you need. This fucking comic book just keeps falling over. Anyways, just some interesting stuff. I mean, it's so different than what you see in mainstream comics at the time, I feel like. And honestly, somebody would go, oh, that kind of looks like an amateur artist. That's a pretty damn good amateur artist, if you ask me. Great drawings. That arm lifted. Very difficult position to draw an arm in. Just great drawing. Alright, so we're going to go to issue 2. I want to look at the first 3 issues. I have more issues. Maybe I'll do a part 2 or something at some point, because I'm sure that so many people are looking for Stark Future videos. Great opening pages. Alright, finally, we have Tim McGowan as the artist, I'm assuming. Okay. Oh, it's Jim Somerville is the person that I'm thinking. I'm sorry, not Barry Blair, Jim Somerville. But Jim Somerville did the inking. That's right. Barry Blair is the editor. Sorry, Jim. Anyways, Man, it just reminds me so much of Mobius. Just these weird perspectives. You got to know about perspective to do that. I love that too. Just above shot. I love above shots when they're done right. It just makes you feel like you're living in this huge world, kind of like Blade Runner or something. I love when somebody can get that sci-fi world down beautifully. Mobius is a master at that, but yeah, man, what great figure drawings. See, that's the thing is I'm not a big stickler on proportion. This book like wants to run away. I'm not a big stickler on proportion because I don't think proportion is as important as people try to tell you, because it kind of goes out the window once you move the figure in space. I'm sure there are people that would disagree with that, people who are far more advanced at drawing than I am, but I don't think that proportion is as important as people believe it to be. And you learn proportion over time when you draw. So, if you're sitting there going, oh, I got to learn exactly how big the head is and exactly how big the arm is and where the chest begins, and you don't really need to do that. You just keep drawing, and eventually you'll get it down. Looks like her arm is missing there. Interesting. Great faces, too. Reminds me a lot. It reminds me a lot of Tim Vigil's early work. Love that. I really don't love that. I wouldn't want to draw. I really wouldn't want to read that, but, going, oh, yeah. But, great artwork. I love somebody who can draw a great figure. But I love when somebody can draw a great perspective scene as well. Looks like it's fading here. I wonder if they had issues with the inking and said, fuck it. Love this. Not inking, but you know what I mean. Very cool. I can't believe I couldn't remember Jim Somerville. Now I feel like a fucking moron. Anyways, let's look at issue 3. Great cover, by the way. Probably the best cover so far. So, very cool. I think this goes up to like issue 10 or 11 or something. I think I have most of them. I don't know if I have all of them. I can't remember. Start out with another great page. Now we are back to Jim Somerville. Illustrating again. Man, he could draw amazing faces. Ugh, I love the lush, just dark ink as well. A lot of ink on the page. I look at artists like this and I'm like, man, if I could just draw like half as good as this, I'd be good. That's a great page. Great drawing too. Sometimes I've noticed that when you start to get when your stuff starts to get more dynamic, it's actually really difficult to draw like static poses. You kind of have to tell yourself to go back to being stiff, but it doesn't look stiff. I'm not saying it looks stiff, but it's so difficult to draw static poses when you're kind of going very gestural all the time. Man, what a great piece that is. Just doing some really amazing stuff. Oh man, look at that. Look at that anatomy drawing. Just amazing art right there. I don't know, Jim Somerville might be my new favorite artist. I bought these books and I was like, I'll go through them eventually, but I've been so busy with drawing that I just haven't been able to. And I know Jim Somerville, whose name I forgot, goes off the book, I think, like after like issues 5 or 6. So I'm actually kind of interested to see where it goes. And I know there's a second series as well, I believe. But I did not pick that up because I'm not interested. I'm interested in the... Oh, no, there isn't a second series to this. I'm thinking of a different book that Jim Somerville did. The gentleman's name who I forgot. Anyways, amazing faces. Just great stuff. Great storytelling. I love it. It reminds me of like... was it like Double Dragon? Like the box art for Double Dragon. And this was about that time. Look at that guy coming out in the darkness. Very cool. Man. some weird stuff too with like aliens and stuff. He draws guns very poorly, but you know, I feel like futuristic guns actually like lose detail because I guess people thought that things were going to be much slicker and more simple. I love those shoulder pads too. Reminds me of like World of Warcraft shoulder pads. I'm assuming that Star Wars had just come out maybe like what 5 or 6 years before this, so I imagine Star Wars is probably a big inspiration. And then Elf Lord, which I was going to get at some point, but I didn't. Samurai I know is a big one too, and I believe Men in Black was under Aircell as well. Yes, that Men in Black. But I just kind of want to go back to a page. I absolutely love this page. I think this is one of the coolest pages of comics I've ever seen. But anyways, that's Jim Somerville on Stark Future, the gentleman's name who I forgot. And very interesting books. Very cool books. I like things that are... I love mainstream comics. Don't get me wrong. I do. But there's something about like indie comics from this period of time, as cartoonist kayfabe would say. Oh, I love that too. As cartoonist kayfabe would say, outlaw comics, which I definitely... Sure, that's a terminology. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is outlaw comics. It's very different than what you see in mainstream comics. And, yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's just great stuff. Great drawing. It's just beautiful. Like, you look at this stuff and you go, art doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to look cool. And this stuff looks so cool. So dynamic. It's just so different, I feel like, than most comics that you read. So much action going on. I mean, wow. Amazing stuff. And for 1986, I mean, this is pretty great. So anyways, thank you guys for watching.